Hey everybody, JK here, coming at you on a new tripod. Now obviously it can't videotape itself, so here's a pretty picture of what it looks like. Look at that, just gorgeous. I mean, not fallen over or held together by scotch tape or anything. That's how you know you got quality. But what it means is we get to make some Ukrainian eggs, and I can actually showcase how the process is made. Now I'm going to use some magic powers to just wiggle myself down into the corner of the screen. That way you can see a close-up and also my rugged jawline. It's pretty nice, right? Look at that. Now some people would say, no, you look like a gaunt skeleton man, but no, it's a rugged jawline, okay? Gosh. Anyway, to begin, we need a few things. We need an egg, which we have. It is a raw chicken egg. Yes, that is what it is. And we need some beeswax, a candle, and one of these nifty little tools called a kitska, which I also call kitska because that's how my family always pronounced it. It's basically just a funnel on a stick. And we begin by filling the funnel on a stick with some of the wax and then heat it up over the candle so that the wax is melted. We then take the wax and draw directly on the egg. Now, here's how it works. The wax seals whatever color the egg is. So right now, while the egg is white, anything that I draw, although it looks black, will actually stay white in the end because the wax protects that part of the shell. So this usually takes quite a long time. I figured we might as well speed up the video, and to go with that, I will sing some appropriate music. You ready? Na 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 na. Okay, so you get the point. And voila, we have a finished, well, the white part is at least finished, but it looks like we have black lines on a white egg. Eventually, it will look like white lines. Anyway, we are going to take it next over to the dye table and put it into a colored dye. To begin, we will probably start with something like yellow because we go from lightest to darkest, and yellow is the first stop on that range. While the egg is over there in the dye, I'm going to sit and drink some tea. So it usually takes a few minutes. Well, this is not very interesting. So let's just time warp into the future. The egg is now yellow. Well, except for the lines that are already colored, which are white because they were covered. Anyway, you'll see in the end. But now we get to add more lines, and any lines that we add now will stay yellow. Again, that takes a while, so hit it, Benny. Okay, so the yellow lines are now finished, and we can put it into the next colored dye. Because we're going from lightest to darkest, that would usually be something like a pink or a pale green, anything in that light range. And I decided on pink here, obviously, because the egg is already back. I want to remind everyone, though, that this usually takes quite a bit of time. We are seeing an abbreviated version because of the magic of technology, but usually the egg has to stay in the dye for a few minutes, then the egg has to dry for a few minutes, and so on and so forth. So usually I will have a couple eggs going all at the same time. Saxophone music, saxophone music, saxophone music, and we go into the next color dye. And then it comes back, and we go into the next color dye, and then it comes back, and so on and so forth for a very long time. Generally, if I try and do this with just one single egg, I go crazy, which is another reason that I work on several eggs at once. And usually then it stretches over days instead of just hours, because you can only stare at an egg for so long before you just don't want to do it anymore. Anyway, that happens for a while until eventually the egg goes into black dye, or something very dark, and that is usually the end of the process. So here we have it, the final egg. It looks hideous, it's covered in wax, and it's ruined. We just spent a lot of time for nothing. I hope you've enjoyed this look at making Ukrainian eggs. Now next week, there's one small additional part of the process. Now we have to get the wax off of the egg. And to do that, there are several methods. In the old days, like ancient times way back before 2018, we would actually hold the egg up to the candle and melt the wax off slowly by hand. The problem with this method is you will occasionally burn yourself, and then your natural reaction is to let go of the egg, and it plummets to the ground and shatters into a million pieces and gets egg everywhere, and then all of that hard work really was for nothing. So that is not the best method, although it is the one that we used for many years. And yes, I had a lot of eggs destroyed this way. The good news is, a couple of years ago, we got a heat gun, and that is much nicer. So, using the heat gun, we can now heat up the wax, which again is a relatively slow process that I will speed up for the sake of brevity, and slowly wipe the wax off with a cloth. Also, the cloth is ruined in the process. Sorry, cloth. But the egg is beautiful, as you can see, and after a bit of time and some love, we can get all the wax off, and it is in final form in all of its glory. So there you have it, the final egg. Well, almost. As you remember, there is a raw egg in there because this is a whole raw chicken egg, and it basically then becomes a ticking time bomb. So we need to get the inside of this egg out of the egg. And if you're interested in that whole process, you can watch the next video, which is called Frequently Asked Ukrainian Egg Questions. Where can you find that video? Well, I'm glad you asked. My wife has lovingly crafted a brand new website to showcase this year's Ukrainian eggs. And you can see them at pittsburgheggs.com. That's Pittsburgh with an H at the end. So make sure you put that in there because it's not that Pittsburgh that doesn't have the H, which everybody thinks is weird. But whatever. Pittsburgh with an H. You can see all of the eggs from this year on the site and some videos on how the process goes. And as I said, that frequently asked questions video. And if you're ever interested in owning a delightful egg-related piece of art done by yours truly, you can even buy one there. Or you can buy all of them. Buy all of them. Just, I mean, once they're gone because they're one of a kind. And, you probably already missed them. You shouldn't have been watching the rest of this video. That's really on you. I can't, well, that's too late. So you might as well watch the rest of the video. But that's it. The video's over. So really, you don't get anything out of it. Like, you missed your chance. YOLO, man. YOLO. Anyway, next week I'll be back. I don't know what I'm going to talk about because I've basically used up everything that I know in these last 4 episodes. So it might just be me playing a kazoo for 20 minutes.